my name is Sheila Davis. I am the Community Development Manager here at Fourth Playing Forward. My role here at Fourth Playing Forward is to really develop resiliency with our community partners and with our community members here along the corridor, and really build an ecosystem that's sustainable and equitable for us here. So when I say these things, it's really me walking with community and hearing their voices and making sure their voices are heard. So when I look at our community, when I look at the community that we sit in and our space here, it's about placemaking. And when we create placemaking opportunities is when we start being heard and seen, and disparities begin to reduce because people are now being seen and heard. Their needs are being tended to. Rent assistance, food sustainability, wealth building, right? Financial knowledge of how we're coming together as a community. So when we start doing programs like this is when we start creating sustainable work within our community. Number one, creating long-term relationships with our community and really addressing their cultural needs. We live in the highest area of diversity within Vancouver. And so really addressing the cultural needs of our community is where we start making that change. And that's what our folks are saying. This is what our community is saying. We need culturally specific programs. We need to have the support from our community to see who we are and what we're doing, because our cultures are important. We hold space for that. And whether it's shown within community or within our homes, this is where strength lies, is within our culture and our identity. So when we think about equitable practices, it's really about looking at our investments and what we're doing and what we're investing in it to our community. So when it comes to equitable practices, it's about investing in our community in a way that suits our community best. And so really looking at what our communities are needing, identifying their priorities, and moving forward with those priorities. And this will continue to build and promote community in a positive light. And so when we talk about equitable practices and ecosystems, it's about being heard. How do we continue to grow our community, right? How do we elevate us to a space outside of poverty thinking, to generational wealth building, believing in ourselves, first and foremost, believing in our children, believing in our parents, believing in our community, because knowledge is power. All of what we do, so we have 3 long-term goals. We have people, policy, and place. And so it's about that upward policy change and what we're doing for our community. It's about our community, our autonomy to each other, right? And our placemaking, thriving neighborhoods, grassroots organizations. This is our core. These are the things we're always going to lean pretty heavy on. And so when we lean heavy on these 3 core aspects, we have to look at our pillars as well. Racial equity, inclusion, and social justice. Community first and always first. Collective impact. It takes a village. Development without displacement, because we've seen displacement across the board. That's not what we want to do here. In fact, we want to change that. And climate adaptation. How do we continue to have greener spaces for our community? How do we have healthier spaces for the longevity of the next 7 generations? I'm working on several different programs. One is creating a pilot doula program specifically for BIPOC folks within our community, partnering closely with Clark County Public Health. And currently we're going to be taking 10 folks and providing their training and paying for their training, paying for their mentorship, and also for their business startup. So really creating this space of elevating our community through what they know how to do best, right? So we're looking for folks who are the birth keepers, who are the spirit guides into this world when we bring babies into this space. And so that's one program we're working on. Another program is Community Voice, and my goal is to have 377 meaningful conversations with folks along the corridor here. And really what these conversations are doing is having these authentic spaces to share your thoughts outside of a forum or outside of a neighborhood association meeting, and having a space where they can share what their needs are. That's one of the projects. Another continual project is always our Art in the Parks programs, hanging out with the kiddos, providing free art for kids all summer long, and partnering with all the folks who love to create art spaces for children. And so that's always a fun event over the summer. Another program we're building is building a BIPOC artist coalition of BIPOC artists coming together and creating some really cool artwork and bringing community together so our voices are seen and seen out loud, unapologetically us in this space, and really giving a space for youth to see artists in this way. The support that's needed from our community is really having these conversations, picking up the phone and give me a call. If you know somebody who lives along the Fourth Point corridor who wants to have a conversation with me, please give them a call. Like, give me a call, pick up the phone, share my number, share things. I want to have these conversations. If you think that a nonprofit out there is like, you need to meet Sheila, you need to meet Utch, please share my contact, because together, again, we are stronger. And as the backbone organization along the Fourth Point corridor, in order for us to continue to be on this path of unity, we need to all be talking to each other. And that includes community members as well. Sharing my number, texting me, emailing me. But I'm as easy as a phone call away. Number one, it's a long-term goal. Short-term goal is to always cultivate meaningful conversations. First and foremost, let's do those conversations. That's always going to be on the forefront of everything that I do, is having meaningful conversations with the folks that I get to be around. So some of the long-term goals is continuing to build programs for our community, whatever that might look like. And so this is where these conversations are coming in from, is what can we do to better support you? And whether it's financial wellness, whether it's educational, like getting into college, finishing your degree, getting your high school degree. If it's English conversations that you're needing, let's do it. If it's helping find childcare, finding a job, how do we continue to support each other? So the long-term goals are, what programs does our community need? So then I can build them. I cannot tell you what programs are in the long term until I have these conversations. That's where it authentically is, though, right? We cannot create programs unless I have these conversations, because I can speak what's good for me, you can speak what's good for you, but until we have these conversations, then they're just a thought. My job is to make them become a reality.